What up, Pokenet? Welcome into the video today. Unfortunately, we're checking out Crustle, right? I mean, gosh dang it, this deck was so successful in Prague. And so unfortunately, I think we're going to be seeing it a bit more, especially at the LA regionals. I almost guarantee we're going to run into a few Crustle decks. And so this deck in particular finished, I think, 7th at Prague. There was another Crustle build that finished 2nd. I prefer this deck slightly more. I know it finished a little bit behind, but this is the Crustle deck that I prefer, and not that I want to run Crustle, but I might have to, right? This might be a deck we have to run. So let's jump into it and see what we got going here. So we're running 3 Crustle. Again, it's so dangerous, right? This this ability, keeping it safe from EX Pokemon, and being 150 HP, and then we're going to keep adding to that. So we'll see as we go through the video. We can get this Crustle over 300 HP, and the fact that you can't hit it with an EX makes it so strong. And there's almost no fire Pokemon out right now, right? So realistically, this is a really tough card to knock out. So we have 3 Crustles. That's what we're looking at there. And then we're running 4 Dweeble. Is that one of the lamest names in Pokemon, or is it a good name, right? Do we like Dweeble or do we not like the name Dweeble, right? You gotta let me know in the comments what you think of this name. But part of what makes this so good is Ascension, right? Its first attack allows you to find a card that evolves from this card and evolve it. So if they're going second on their first turn, they're able to be in Crustle right away, and really puts us in a bind if we're not running, if we're not looking for a way to knock out the Crustle. So we have a 4-3 line with Crustle and Dweeble. So that's what we're looking at with that. And then I think for some draw support, it's also running 2 Mega Kangaskhan. Realistically, we're using this again for some draw support. It helps us get our bench set up. A lot of times we don't care if they take a 3 prize KO because they may never be able to knock out 3 more Crustle. So realistically, we almost never want to put both of these in play, but it can give us, again, another Pokemon in play. We can add energies. We can be taking KOs as we're setting up Crustle behind it a little bit too. So 2 Mega Kangaskhan's, which is certainly one of my favorite draw engines right now. I'm running that in a lot of other decks with Mega Kangaskhan, and that's it. That's all the Pokemon this deck is running, right? I mean, pretty dang easy for us. Unfortunately, pretty hard for KOs to come by, and especially with a lot of meta decks. So that's it. That's all we're running. 4-3 line of Crustle Dweeble and 2 Mega Kangaskhan. In some of the other decks, they are running the Cornerstone Masked Ogerpon, and they're doing that again to give a different blocker and a different attacker. The fact that a lot of people are also running Mega Kangaskhan's and Meowths are super active. We can use Cornerstone because a lot of those Pokemon are weak to fighting to take some extra KOs. So I don't have that inclusion in here, but that's something for you to decide on if you like that deck a little bit more with the Cornerstone Masked Ogerpon. And then we're running tons of supporters in here. We know supporters are some of the most powerful cards within the TCG. And one of the most powerful supporters is Lillie's Determination. So we're running 4 Lillie's Determination. I think that's pretty common within a lot of decks, right? That we're running 4 of them because it's one of our strongest supporters. That's why we're running 4, because it just helps our deck out so much with all the draw support. We're also running 4 Team Rocket's Petrel in here. A lot of times we need to get a specific trainer card, and this is how you do it, right? So while it's not as powerful as like Arvin was before he rotated out, it is still super strong and a great card, and works really good within this deck too. So we're running 4 of those. Then we're running 4 get over here boss's orders. Again, we want to get the right things up and for KOs, because we're not taking single. Sorry here. Excuse me. Because we're not running any single KOing Pokemon for the most part. We want to get damage on the board, but then be able to get that Pokemon back up into the active. And so we're doing that with boss's orders, right? We know why it's so strong. Sorry, here, let me get this corrected so it looks better. All right. Then we're running 2 Hilda. Unfortunately, I'm running low on Hilda. I had to put the full art in here because I couldn't source any more Hildas out of my out of all my playable bulk. So right now we got the full art Hilda in here, which is fine too. Again, another great powerful Pokemon, especially in this deck. We need to get to our special energies. And that's also why we're running 2 of the Colress Tenacity as well. So we want to get to, sometimes we need to get to Crustle, not very often because we're going to use Ascension. But we also need to get this special energies, and so Colress helps us with that, and so does Hilda. And then we're only running 1 stadium in here, but again, it's going to help us get to that stadium, and we'll show that off in a minute. And we're running 1 Xerosic Mechinations, right? One of the decks that could be really tough for us is Alakazam. And this just crushes that Alakazam, right? They get a big hand. We now make them discard all of those cards except for 3. And a lot of times Alakazam cannot recover from that. They just can't get back where they need to number-wise. So that does it for our supporters. Again, we're running a lot of them within this deck, but part of that is because we have so low Pokemon, we want to make sure we get all the stuff we need to and when we need to do it. And another part of that is we're running 4 Pokegear 3.0s so we can get to the right supporters. So 4 of the Pokegear 3.0, a card that I've really enjoyed for a long time. It worked even, it's been around for years now in the TCG, and there's a reason because of how powerful and strong it is. Then we have 4 jumbo ice creams. We're looking to keep the Crustle around as long as we can. A lot of times, because they can't take a single turn KO on it, we can now heal it, keep it around for the next turn, and continue to cause issues for our opponent. So we're running 4 jumbo ice creams. Running 2 Buddy-Buddy Poffins. Again, really, we don't need to get a ton of Dweebles out usually. We don't need a full bench of them. But 2 or 3 can do the trick. And so that's what we're looking at here with the Buddy-Buddy Poffin. And part of why there's only 2, where we see so many times there's 4 within decks. Okay, we're running 4 Ultra Ball, or 2 Ultra Ball, my bad. This way we can get into Crustle if we don't with the Ascension attack. Let me get these slid over here. Then we're running 2 Super Potion, right? Is this in any other deck right now? I mean, I think the answer to that's probably no. But again, because we need to heal Crustle, we're running 2 Super Potion to make that happen. Because he's just so hard to get KOs on, we want to keep it around. So we're healing 60 from that Pokemon, but if you do, you discard an energy. But especially later in the game, we have so many energies attached to Crustle that that's not going to really hurt us at all. Then we're running 1 Pokepad, so not very many. Again, most decks are running like 3 or 4 of these, but we only need 1 within this build. 1 Switch. If we get stuck with the Mega Kangaskhan, or they're going to take some KOs, we do need to get out of the active. And so Switch is how we're going to do that within this deck. one counter gain. Again, this also allows us to be hitting with Crustle faster. Obviously, with Mega Kangaskhan a little bit easier too. It's the only tool that we have in this deck build, but I do think it comes in handy quite often. So, one counter gain. Again, you're not seeing that much in decks right now, but it is going to be pretty strong within this deck in particular. And then for our stadium, the only one we're running is 2 Team Rocket's Factory. Because we need a little bit more draw support when we're using Team Rocket's Petrel, this is how we get there. So this allows us to also be drawing cards with Team Rocket's Petrel, and so that can make it more powerful, help us be a little more consistent. So 2 Team Rocket's Factory for our stadiums. All right, and then for the Yay spec, we're running Hero's Cape. I mean, my gosh, again, this helps us get that Crustle way up there. So now we're sitting at 250 on a Crustle. And we have more ways of making that stronger, which we're going to jump into next. But so we got the Hero's Cape. We're now at 250 HP with that Crustle, which is absolutely crazy to have that single prize Pokemon at 250. Now that we're going to get into our special energies, so this thing's running a ton of special energies, and the first one is for growing energy, right? So the grass Pokemon this is attached to gets 20 more HP. So you can see how we're building this, right? We want Crustle to be super bulky. You know, we're already going to be at 250. Now we can get over 300 HP with that Crustle if we get these attached. So we're running 4 growing grass energy. Then we're running 4 mist energy, right? This protects us from effects of attacks of our opponent's Pokemon. So we're running 4 mist energy. And then again, because there's times where we just can't take the KOs we need more damage to get put on our opponent's Pokemon. We're running 4 Spiky Energy. Again, when your opponent hits into the Pokemon this is attached to, they take 2 damage counters. So we're running 4 of those Spiky Energies, again, to help us try to increase how hard we can be hitting with Crustle. And then we only have 2 basic energy in here, which is 2 grass energy, and that's it. Again, we want to load up all those special energies. That's why we have Colress's Tenacity. It's why we have the Hilda, again, to help us with that. So that's what we're looking at for the Crustle deck that took 7th within Prague. Man, I'm so not happy this deck was good, right? I don't want to be showing this deck. I don't want it to become meta. I don't want to see it when I'm playing, but we're going to. This is going to be around. Again, there's a couple of different iterations or different inclusions you can make depending on how you want to play it. I think this one is maybe slightly easier to play if you're new to playing Crustle, right? I think if you're just looking to pick up Crustle now, you can start with just only Crustles, but I think the Mega Kangaskhan allows us better draw support and a second attacker if we're getting into something that we really are struggling to get KOs with. So that is the Crustle deck, one of the ones that was in the top 8 at Prague this last weekend. And again, this is something you're going to see even at some of your locals coming up, and you need ways around it. So we're going to make a video coming up next week, and it's only going to be how do we take out Crustle. It's going to be Pokemon that we can hit into Crustle, take KOs with, that you can maybe get included into some of your decks that you're running. So anyways, as always, thank you guys for the support. Please smash the like button. If you're not subscribed, please go and do so. And then I always love when you guys can give us some feedback on how we can make better videos for you. So constructive feedback always helps the channel out. It's how I can get better content out to you guys. And then let me know, is there other decks right now that you guys want to see some info on too? So again, smash the like button, go subscribe if you haven't, and leave some comments and let me know how everything's going Pokemon-wise for you. And then as always, have a Poketastic day.